week's episode of Dragon Ball Super. Beerus, Whis, and Goku travel to Universe 10, where Goku has an epic sparring match with the Kaioshin in training, Zamasu, a fighting prodigy who has lost all faith in humanity. You know what this episode needed more of? The Pilaf gang. Actually, no, I take that back. I really wish they didn't destroy the pacing of this week's otherwise epic episode of Dragon Ball Super. A very good story episode with a small amount of action, which might not blow your mind, but it's still pretty exciting nonetheless. Goku, Beerus, and Whis have just arrived in Universe 10, and that's where they meet Zamasu and his master, Gowas. These are the Kaioshin of Universe 10. Zamasu has a key which is almost identical to Goku Black, which leads them to believe that they might actually be the same being. Despite the fact that it is identical, I don't think that they're exactly the same being. Maybe he's a composite of a lot of different beings all together. All I know is it's still a mystery as to who Goku Black truly is, and I'm sure we're going to get some answers in a couple of episodes, but before we get back, let's just talk about some of the highlights of this episode. First, there's the character of Zamasu, who is the Kaioshin from Universe 10, and this dude just has lost all faith in humans. He feels that they constantly repeat this cycle of just killing each other, and there's no reason for them to exist anymore. The thing is, though, a Kaioshin's job is simply to look over the humans, not to destroy them. They have to lead that up to their god of destruction. I was really sort of hoping that we would see the god of destruction from Universe 10, seeing how similar they might actually be to Beerus, maybe even the same being altogether. All I know is I'm glad we still got to spend some time with Zamasu and Gowas. So, Zamasu himself is actually a fighting prodigy, which is to say he's a pretty badass fighter, and he's very calculating in the way that he fights, to the point where we see him and Goku fight. At first, they're almost on even terms, but Goku ends up getting the edge in the battle and ends up just defeating him with a flurry of punches and kicks. It's not the most exciting fight in the world, but it demonstrates the huge power gap between the two characters. Not to mention, it also sets up the fact that Zamasu hates humans even more now. Despite the fact that Goku himself is technically not a human, he just sort of sees himself as an Earthling. I mean, he's descendant from superpowered space Vikings. Not to mention he himself also has the power of the gods. We have to remember that. But this sparring match only intensified Zamasu's hate of humanity, and it's probably what's going to drive him to eventually becoming Goku Black. And it's strange that he would choose the form of Goku, but I still hold firm that Goku Black has the ability to transform into various different creatures. That first episode that he was introduced, when you saw him behind the clouds and all of the dust and smoke, he took a lot of different forms and silhouettes, and I'm still convinced that one of his forms is some sort of weird human jack-in-the-box type creature. I know that sounds strange, but trust me, it's gonna happen. Beerus and Whis are also there to investigate as well, not only to try and identify the actual key of Zamasu and see how similar it is to Black's, but also to see if they have all of their time rings, which is something that belongs to Goku Black. And yes, they seem to have all of their rings intact, and some of them are also got this like weird green color scheme. I wonder why they have so many of them as well, but still they seem to have all the rings and everything's fine. Although there is the possibility that Goku Black is from the future of Universe 10, and it's only a matter of time before Zamasu actually somehow changes into Goku Black. I don't know, it's really, really strange. All I know is this is a really interesting story, and it's totally got me engrossed. The fact that, you know, we've already done time traveling, now we're doing, like, dimensional traveling. Just, Dragon Ball always manages to break through the glass ceiling. It's amazing how they always manage to up the ante in just about every single arc. Now, aside from all of just the cool scenes with the Kaioshin from Universe 10 and Goku sparring against him, there was a scene in the middle of the episode which I felt one half of it was just completely stupid and the other half was actually kind of cool. Because I love seeing future Trunks' reaction to this current version of the future, realizing that Krillin is married to Android 18, one of his greatest enemies from the past, and someone that he's killed in his very own future. 18's reintroduction to Trunks in this episode is really funny to say the least, and has to just really mess with Trunks' head, so much so that he decides to go stare at a lake Dawson's Creek style, with Mai creepily watching him and Pilaf and the gang trying to help her out, and then the little version of current Trunks acting like just a fool just trying to impress Mai. It's just ridiculous, and it breaks the pacing of this awesome episode, but it might actually get a couple chuckles out of some of the viewers of this week's episode. What is cool is in the next episode, Trunks is going to be doing some trainings with Big Papa Vegeta, which means there's a small possibility that Trunks might actually become a Super Saiyan God, or maybe even attain a power like that, maybe even something else entirely. All I know is I would love to see Trunks get a little more powerful, because Goku and Vegeta are awesome. Cannot deny that. They're two of the coolest anime characters of all time. But the Dragon Ball universe has some of the greatest side characters ever, and they have to utilize them. They have to make use of these guys. Aside from that, this was still a really exciting story episode of Dragon Ball Super. So what's the rundown on this week's episode of DBS? I was expecting a little bit more from the battle between Goku and Zamasu, but I'm still excited because of just the overall story that's going on here. It's so mysterious, and I can't predict anything that's going on, especially considering the fact that Black, you know, there's so many clues to him being Zamasu, the fact that they have the same key, the fact that he has the time ring, that he seems to be wearing the Potara earring, at least one of them, but I can't make any sort of clear connection. I mean, he might not be some sort of like fused version of Zamasu or something else. He might have actually been able to steal his ki or his fighting style, the way that Goku's was stolen. But it's weird that he takes the form of Goku as well. Can you see why this is really confusing? And I love the fact that the spoiler titles aren't like giving anything away about the identity of Black and his connection to Zamasu. I think that's really awesome. I really cannot wait to see how all of this is going to go down and how it's actually going to work. It's really exciting stuff, to say the least. As far as Zamasu's power goes, you know, he fought Goku at Super Saiyan 2 level, which is to say he's a pretty powerful guy. He even blocked a number of his attacks, but at the end of the day, Goku did beat him, and Goku really wasn't even going full power. I mean, that was just Super Saiyan 2. He still has the ability to go 3. He can definitely go into God mode as well, which he would have probably just absolutely destroyed him there. I really like the fact that Gawas, his master, was sort of like really shocked by the fact that there was a human or a Saiyan who was actually training with Beerus, and Beerus himself still takes no shit from anyone, which is what makes him a really great character. It's been a long time since we've had a character like that in Dragon Ball who's way more powerful than the main characters of the series, who isn't just like a weird, clear-cut villain, and that's what makes Beerus and Whis so intriguing. And despite how powerful they are, they don't know everything. They're still confused as to why all of this is going on and who Black is, so it also makes them vulnerable characters as well, and that's really hard to pull off with super-powered beings like that. What I will say is, this was a satisfying episode going to Universe 10, seeing some brand new Kaioshin characters, and possibly seeing the very origins of Goku Black, but it's still a complete mystery right here, and there was a little bit of action, and of course there was a lot of humor in the second half of the episode, so this was a solid episode of DBS all around. I wanted the battle to last a little bit longer, and the build-up to it was pretty freaking astronomical. That being said, I loved this episode, and I cannot wait to see how it's going to evolve as this future Trunks arc goes on. So I'm going to give this episode right here a 4 out of 5. I thought some of the animation moments could have looked a little better during the fight, and I wanted the fight to be longer. Despite that, the rest of the episode was wholly satisfying, and Dragon Ball fans should definitely check it out. But if any of you did watch this week's episode of Dragon Ball Super, make sure to tell me what you thought about it in the comment section below. What do you think of the brand new character of Zamasu? What do you think his connection actually is to Goku Black? Make sure to tell me your theories in the comment section below, and make sure to tell me what you want to see from the rest of Dragon Ball Super. Thank you guys for watching this review. I appreciate it so much. Make sure to like, subscribe, and all that other jazz. Thank you guys again for watching, and as always, stay